Asawa ni Ann Cortez. Asawa ni Ann Cortez. Asawa ni Ann Cortez na, oh.
Secret's out.
Karin, Kwan.
Just telling everyone.
Asawa ni Ann Cortez.
We just wrapped up our Bacolod and Negros Occidental shoot where we met some of the city's tastemakers, listened to their stories, and savored the best of Negrense food. Today we will be making our way through Iloilo to drive towards Capiz. This is my first time here and I can't wait to learn a little bit more about this province. But first... I've always preferred driving myself and the team around whenever we travel to different places. For this trip, we have Ford Negros to thank for lending us such a sleek ride to take us around the island.
Backing up into Ororo in the Philippines is always an experience. These guys pack these boats to the brim, so the parking assist on the next gen Ford Territory was super useful just in terms of making sure that my wheels were going straight or left or right. And so we're currently loaded up onto the Montenegro line Roro. It should take about an hour and a half to reach Iloilo, and then we can do the long drive up to Capiz. Super excited. I've never been there. It's a brand new location for me in the Philippines, and I've always heard amazing stuff about the food there.
Roxas City is found in the province of Capiz, a bustling trading hub during the Spanish colonial period, which may explain why it became the second Spanish settlement after Cebu. Today, it's mostly touted as the seafood capital of the Philippines, mainly due to its 80-kilometer coastline facing the seafood-rich Sibuyan Sea, as well as the Panay River, which allows a bountiful harvest of various marine species. But aside from the seafood fare that is usually talked about, we were after some of the heirloom dishes and eateries that the locals love to eat.
All right, we have finally arrived in Iloilo. Now an hour and a half, and we will finally be in Roxas. Let's do it.
On our way in, we heard lots of people making the drive from Iloilo to Capiz or further out to Boracay, stop at Pednor's Kandigan and Manokan. Pednor's is famous for their native mutton or kambing dishes and fried chicken, and I definitely want to try both.
Grab a bottle of vinegar cinemac and tons of chilies. This place is starting to get full, and I heard they're known for their goats, but their chicken gets really rave reviews as well. So we're currently past the city of Pasig, which is at the border of Iloilo and Capiz. It's kind of a very busy, transient route. It's extremely difficult to make these tender, but what makes native chicken so sought after is just a deeper, fuller flavor. Now, whether or not there's a specific species of native chicken, that's to be discussed. So native chicken around the Philippines, it's kind of like a broader umbrella term, so it differs from province to province, but it's usually definitely kind of like this, where it's a bit chewier, tighter skin, but lots of flavor. This is their caldereta. This does not look like the calderetas that I've made. Thicker, gravy-like consistency, yet it's very kind of like liquidy. That goat is really tender. The sauce has a nice kind of like peppery bite to it. It's not cloyingly gamey. A little hint of acidity at the end. I'm not too sure where that comes from. It could be calamansi, but that's tasty. I like that. Yummy. We have their soup. They called it a goat sinigang. In my head, this is not a sinigang in terms of the elements that you'd find in a sinigang. This is really just meat and broth. They probably call it sinigang because it's probably a sour broth. So let's try that. Yeah, so it's slightly sour, but not overly so. I think there's some puso in there also, or some banana heart. There's some skin, some meat, some cartilage. After polishing this off, we're gonna start exploring this beautiful province.
Since we were in Cuartero, we were invited by the Provincial Tourism Office to visit the Capiz Ecology Park and Cultural Village. built to preserve living traditions of the many indigenous people who make Capiz their home. The village features several ethnic houses in a natural setting. Each house is said to showcase the day-to-day lives and traditions of the IP communities, including their cooking.
Magdidemo po tayo ng binakol na manok sa pasok na may malaumaw po. Unahin po natin yung ipasok sa loob na itong dahon ng ng malaumaw, yung kalate po. Tapos yung manok po, lagyan natin sa loob ng sibuyas, bawang, luya, asin po. Saka yung malaumaw po na daw din, lagyan natin dito. Yung tanglad po, pasok din natin dito. Tapos ipapasok natin po sa pasok yung manok. Pangsabaw natin po, tubo ng lubi po. Tapos tatakpan natin. Lulutuin po natin sa apoy po ng 1 hour yung binakol nating manok.
Not that I'm hungry again, but this was literally 10 minutes away from our last stop. Usually, obviously, they do this with tours, which is great for kind of like students or younger kids. And it's just kind of a good like little break if you're driving along this route to stop here and kind of be surrounded by nature. So we have a couple of Capiznon delicacies in front of me. Some of them obviously you find throughout the Western Visayas. So let's taste some of it. So we have the binakol here, which is probably one of my favorite soups in the Philippines. Oh, it's nice and tender. It's just such a simple flavor profile. It's always really kind of nutritious. The coconut water with the souring leaves and agents in there, always really good. Our paklay, which are our bamboo shoots. So they try to cook both with ingredients that they have in this actual hyperlocality, but also in the larger province of Capiz. It's not necessarily something easy to have in Manila. It has kind of really strong flavors of stir fries and stuff like that, but bamboo shoots just have a nice texture to them. Don't necessarily have much flavor, so they're like vehicles of flavor. So the garlic, the onions, everything that you put in there gets absorbed in the bamboo shoot. It has a nice sweetness to it too.
Ari ang iya mga lakot. Isda, ugbos kabayabas, sibuyas, luya, ahos kag asin.
The most surprising bite I had was this pinamalhan na isda sa ubos bayabas. The guava leaf shoots, which I've never tried, lend a fresh and tart aroma which pairs perfectly with the vinegar. It's cooked down until almost dry, which is a nice touch compared to the soupier versions of paksiw that we know.
It's like a half-dried fish, so you have that kind of funk that you expect from a dried fish, but without too much of that saltiness.
We also tried their grilled catfish, which is a staple. You usually see these standing up over coals, a slow grilling technique that allows all the fat within to seep through the meat.
Next, I'm gonna try our catfish with cassava leaves. So everything here has some familiarity to me, except for this. But I've never seen it kind of chopped this small and then served with pieces of catfish right inside of it. So that's actually quite interesting. Okay. So you kind of have that very distinct flavor that it brings, almost like a over-steeped tea. And that is probably for me the mark of cassava leaves, and then that with really chunky pieces of beautifully, this is perfectly cooked catfish. Very soulful dish.
After our savory food sampling, we walked further down the track, where freshly roasted and brewed local coffee was being served with some kakanin.
There's one thing I've been really trying to push for and try to get people to do within their communities, and that's the idea of farming test sites. So basically dedicating an area of land per barangay municipality and making sure that you plant each endemic fruit and vegetable that
is naturally found in the environment and planted there as a test site for people to learn about what is possible in terms of agriculture in that direct area. And that just helps kind of preserve the knowledge, the plants, the species, all the edible varieties of fruits and vegetables that we have within that locality. This is kind of similar to that, but more on a cultural aspect. It's a great snapshot of all that. So we have some coffee here, which was roasted right beside me. Every province has kind of like their own version of nilupak, so let's try this out. It's quite nice. I feel like a lot of modern versions of nilupak have like powdered milk, condensed milk and stuff like that. This one still feels very natural. We have the inday, glutinous rice balls in coconut shreds cooked with muscovado sugar. This looks so good. It's almost like bilo-bilo. So nice and not extremely sweet, which is quite nice. And then our bicho here, main difference, sugar is dried out and kind of really caramelized. That could possibly be one of my favorites. You can taste that the sugar has been fried in lots of oil, which makes everything better all the time. And a beautiful kind of spongy, glutinous texture of the rice ball. And it's funny that we're ending with kakanin because we're doing something really special after this, something I've been wanting to feature for a long, long time. We're gonna go taste the Capiz puso, which is in Panay. I'm gonna finish my coffee and then we're gonna hit the road. We have a quick hour to go. This is day 2, driving the new next-gen Ford Territory. When you're inside, you have so much space. I'm not a tall guy, like I'm 6 foot. No, I'm 5'10" and a half. That's the truth. But it feels extremely comfortable. I have so much space here, but if you look at the back also, it is very comfortable. You can extend your legs fully and drive really comfortably. You have this massive, beautiful digital panel in front of you that gives you all the information you need about the car, the systems, from music to your location, and your maps through Android Auto, which is such a dream, connects absolutely perfectly. But what I love specifically about this model is that you get so much storage space absolutely everywhere. So you can kind of find a nook for everything, so it still looks really clean and organized. You know, we've had fun kind of pushing down on the gas and accelerating, and it's been really nice and very comfortably no shake that you don't even realize that you are driving that fast. And not only that, this is a drive all the way from Iloilo up to Roxas City, so you're passing a lot of really tight areas. So things like parking assist, all the 3D cameras that you get are extremely helpful. It is a car that is perfectly suited not only for your cities, but also kind of these road trips and kind of do food tours like what we're doing right now. So it's been the perfect tool exploring this new province so far. When you try best, but you don't succeed.
If there's anything I love more than seeing the traditional process of harvesting heirloom ingredients, it's finding someone who uses that ingredient in a traditional recipe and learning from them.
I know we're in the right place because puso is cooked in tuba. And walking through here, I see a lot of palm. And where palm is in the Philippines, if it's a coconut tree, you know there's some type of tuba happening. And for these ones as well, because this is the tuba that's gonna be used to cook the kakanin that we're gonna go visit now. And I can actually smell it already. This is what you call nipa palms. You can tell from the fruit, which is here, and they have a very distinct smell and shape. They cut the tree stalks, basically. That's where the palm trees come out. This, if you drink this as is kind of like a sweetish liquid and not necessarily alcoholic. But because this takes so long, as the day goes on, it starts fermenting a little bit, gets slightly alcoholic, and then they put it in kind of like these storage containers. When it's there and closed, it ferments even further. So this is the main ingredient today.
Just a few minutes away from where the nipa palms grow, we found Manang Teresita Bering, a local puso maker. The Capiz version made by Nanay is more like a sweet sticky rice cake, slowly cooked in a nipa sap and wrapped in intricately woven palm leaves, locally known as balangbang. This not only serves as a sustainable packaging option, but also adds a subtle, complex flavor to the delicacy. I met the children in Nanay's family, and they taught me how to make the woven pouches for the puso. These come in two forms, pointed for males and round for females.
I'm already losing patience. Okay, wait. Okay. Okay, kayo muna. Okay, done. Okay, so it's really sturdy. And then tapos yung rice, pasok lang dito.
Pasok. Tamis sa tuba.
May alcohol na to? Or wala pa?
Wala.
This morning lang? Okay.
Lason, syrup.
Ng previous batches?
Dito, pag tapos yun ng butang ko dere, ibutang ko sa kaldero.
Mga how many minutes dito?
Mga 5 hours gali.
5 hours?
Oo.
Okay. Oh wow, 5 hours. So here you're using pure tuba that was harvested in the morning, so non-alcoholic. You're boiling that for hours and hours and hours with the rice. The rice acts as a starch. That starch leaks out of the puso, thickens the liquid, but at the same time you have the caramelization of the natural sugars that are in tuba. So you get this beautiful, like caramel-like texture. If you have been to Cebu, obviously you've probably heard of puso, but for you, it's a steamed piece of rice that's used for tuslabua, it's used for different dishes and stuff like that. Here, it's considered a kakanin, so same word, very different dish and very different use case, obviously. I think what I really like about this is the simplicity of the recipe. It's literally glutinous rice, the tamis, the nipa palm juice, plus the leaves that they use to cook it, which obviously adds a little bit of flavor. I don't know if this is the right way to do it, but I'm just gonna press it and eat it. Let's get sticky. I thought that was gonna be way sweeter than that. I tasted the syrup and it was like molasses with like a lot of iron flavors, which is quite nice. This was taken this morning. So the liquid of the nipa palm is still very much sweet. You can feel that it's turning so that it's already starting to ferment. One day it's called tamis, 2 to 3 days called tuba. Tuba usually kind of says that there is alcohol already. Honestly, I feel that has alcohol already, even though it was taken this morning. And then if you wait 5 days, all those sugars are kind of eaten up, all that alcohol is eaten up, and eventually you get vinegar. So this is the cooking liquid that I had a while ago. So kind of like a caramel. What I love about that, it has so much acidity in it. It's sticky, it's sweet, it's acidic, and you can really tell that it's been cooked for a long, long time. So kakanins like this really make me happy because they're steeped in tradition, but more importantly, they depend on a very natural product that's endemic to the country, and for it to be done well, it has to be done with patience. Yummy. I'm happy now. We'll take a small little break, and then we're gonna go ahead and continue our trip and drive up all the way to Roxas City, where we're gonna sleep tonight. It is 5:30 in the morning and we are in Barangay Libas and we're pulling up to their morning baksakan, their fish market. Roxas City is known as kind of the seafood capital of the Philippines, and we're gonna go check out what's on display just to have a good idea of what they're catching over here.
At the Libas fish port, we met Leia, a fish trader who takes us on a quick tour to check the freshest catch of the day.
Leia, kamusta?
Morning.
Si Ma'am Leia, si Erwan.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Lahat na isda, galing ng Masbate, lahat dito din nakabagsak.
And ano po yung may pinakamahal?
Bisugo, depende sa klase ng isda.
Okay.
Walking dayon doon.
Tara, tara.
Asawa ni Ann Cortez. Asawa ni Ann Cortez na Asawa ni Ann Cortez
Secret's out.
Karin, Kwan.
Just telling everyone.
Dagol.
Dagol, yeah.
Oo.
Okay.
Asawa ni Ann Cortez.
The fish market was a hub of activity, and there were different varieties of fish coming from the Cebuyan Sea and further out around Masbate. We spoke to a local fishing boat, which just came in, and we're told that nowadays they have to go further out into sea for the larger catches, and since only smaller boats are allowed to fish closer to the land.
Kamusta ang biyahe?
Medyo okay man.
Ano oras kayo umalis kagabi?
Dumating mga 11.
11 p.m. Okay, saan kayo ng isda?
Malapit sa Sibuyan Sea, Romlon. Kasi medyo hinuhuli dito sa malapit. Kaya doon kami sa malayo pumupunta.
Gaano kalayo yung biyahe?
Mga 4 hours. Yung ano pa, sari-sari lang.
Everything.
Ano?
Liwit.
Liwit, at saka
Lapu-lapu.
lapu-lapu, bisogo, at saka yung karaho, at saka yung mataan.
Ilang tonelada madalas?
Kunti man lang, mga half.
Stick
Stick fish yan.
Stick fish.
Oo.
Masarap yan pag
Oo.
piniprito.
Ibigay ko sa iyo yan. Ang nanguhuli ng isda dito ay yung mga maliliit na bangka. Yung mga lalaki doon na po sa malayo, katulad po ng Palawan.
Many of the seafood varieties Capiz is known for and the larger fish are exported out around the country where they sometimes find themselves shipped to foreign lands. Locally, you can feast on all of them either simply grilled or made in a tinola or ginataan style. We took a side trip to observe a different kind of fishing method practiced by the locals called surambao. Surambao is a large fishing implement constructed from bamboo and nets made for catching batches of fish. It's quite a sight. Commonly used by fisherfolk around the barangays in Roxas, it is commonly found in rivers and brackish waters. The sustainable mechanism is quite ingenious, using a lever system to drop in the net and bring it back up.
So, kamusta ang surambao? Okay naman.
Ayos naman, tama lang nga. Wala, hindi naman sobra eh. Pag sumobra yan, yabang naman, di ba? Tama lang. Minsan marami, kung minsan wala naman. Paswerte nga. Depende sa daga, sa tubig. May baba, for example, ang tubig mataas, high tide. Diyon maganda mga isda. Mas maganda pag high tide. Madali ito. Simple lang. Tama naman, ganyan lang. Hatak, gano'n lang. Walang gasolina, walang kwan. Simpleng pangisda na nga. Hanggang buhay tayo, di hatak tayo diyan. Ganyan natin kwan eh, pamumuhay. Pag may pangulam na, ayos na. May bigas naman eh, di ba? Basta buhay.
I heard that one of the best places to eat, especially where a lot of the locals go, is Mang Inaso, and it's actually inside the trade center or their market. We haven't eaten yet, and I am pretty excited for this one. Hi po! Hello! Saan po yung Mang Inaso? Dito? Okay, salamat. Thank you. I love eating at markets because it's indicative of what people enjoy eating in a certain locality, but also kind of the potential of the ingredients that you have. Going to the market and going to the fish port earlier today, we can already see kind of like the based opportunities and potential that the cuisine in Roxas City particularly. You guys can't see it, but we are surrounded by people taking pictures of me. It's always a little awkward to eat in front of literally 100 people.
Pan tayo?
Huh?
Pan tayo.
Go.
Kaway po, kaway!
Now you know. Crispy crablets, as simple as it gets. Deep fried, beautiful. This is blue marlin, one of my favorite fish. The food here is extremely simple, but as long as it's done right and as long as the produce is fresh, then that's the beauty of it, right?
Wow, that blue marlin's good. Some cinnamon. Blue marlin is so well cooked. And I mean, when it comes to port cities like this, lots of seafood, lots of fishermen, you don't actually expect crazy complicated food. In most places in the Philippines, when you talk about tinola, it's mostly chicken, but when it's a big seafood community, tinola is probably one of the most common things that are cooked on bangkas when these people are out for 3 or 4 days kind of catching the fish. Tinola is very easy because it's just ginger and then you kind of just cook down things. And here it's a huge fish head, so you get all that collagen, you get the eyeballs and everything, and that adds so much flavor to the overall broth and soup. And I believe this is bihod, and that has a ton of nutrients and flavor. Let's give it a try. And they added a souring ingredient to it. There is some tomatoes in there, obviously, but that doesn't give you much sourness, but there's some batuan in there. That just goes to show, when people say, you know, oh, tinola should be done this way or that way, 100% you are wrong. There is no one way of making it. There's an understanding of what the base ingredients should be, but every province will have their own way of making it. That was delicious. I really like that. Let's move on to our catfish. What I like about how they cook catfish in general, it's not kind of like directly on heat. Sometimes they kind of have it at vertical spits. So similar to how you cook meat in a parrillada or an esteca in Argentina. And that kind of slow cooks it, keeps things a bit more moist, but also just generates a lot of smokiness in the fish. And again, whoa, that's good. The gelatinous kind of texture retained because of how it's slow cooked, but it's completely cooked through. That's probably one of the best things I've eaten in a while. It's almost like, in France, we have a dish called sole meunière, which is like a French sole. Extremely buttery in flavor, and that's exactly what that tastes like. Seriously, that's one of the best bites of food I've had in a very, very long time. Puso na saging, kind of like ensalada. It has coconut milk and some vinegar, obviously. Nice chili bite also. You don't have that hairiness of the bamboo that you get sometimes. That's delicious. Yummy. Last but not least, kinilaw. I haven't ever had this kind of fish used for kinilaw. I do remember my mom cooking this when she would make boquerones at home, kind of preserving this in olive oil and stuff. So let's try it as kinilaw. Yum. Very clean. Zero fishy flavor. That's just a great kind of like carrier to the overall flavors here. Not as sweet as kind of like the kinilaws you'd have in Mindanao. Not as aromatic like as the one you'd have in with biasong or the one in Dumaguete that has like dungon and stuff like that. This is very kind of just straightforward white vinegar, ginger, lots of ginger, and lots of sharpness from the onions. But the fish carries it really well. It's very kind of like bright and acidic. I am 100% happy with this find. While we were walking, we saw from afar this shop calling us, kind of like a God-given gift. Like, aha! Very good idea, because I've been craving for some inasal, inato, or some inihaw, however you call it. Start with the liempo. Chicken oil on the rice. More. In the wise words of Juju Mao, oh baby. That is nice and soft. Not too sour, which is nice. Perfectly cooked and grilled. When you're around these areas, especially when it comes to inasal, always ask if their chicken is cooked fresh. I've had bad experiences where
It's pre-cooked, then frozen, then grilled again. And that's never good. Dries it out. This is really moist and beautiful. I think the food in Roxas has proven to just be very honest. The seafood is really good, but the classics will never fail you. That with a buko shake is a perfect medley.
Two things in the Philippines that you need to know about when you're traveling. This is not only to wash your ass, it's also to wash your car. We're gonna put some soap in here, and then usually when you drive, there are two choices of car washes. Some that you can have people kind of wash your car. Others with a slot machine, just like Wi-Fi in the provinces. It's that piso culture where you put 5 pesos in, you get some jet spray water, and we can clean this baby because the next gen Ford Territory has been so good to us. She is absolutely dirty. To watch the grease out.
First, bro.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing. Don't worry. How much time does this buy you?
5 minutes.
Driving around the Western Visayas on the new Gen Ford Territory Titanium and experiencing what the island has to offer felt like being locked in an embrace by its gentle people, rich culture, and straightforward cuisine. It's like being with someone pure and honest and who's affectionate in the littlest of ways without the pretense of grand gestures. We didn't have much time to spend on this northern coast, but it has definitely opened up my appetite to what the region has to offer, and I can't wait to come back and dig deeper into the local dishes and ingredients that they treasure.